The history of law enforcement in the United States is riddled with moments of both triumph and tragedy. Some of the most harrowing episodes involve shootouts between law enforcement officers and dangerous criminals. These events often unfold in the blink of an eye, leaving behind a trail of casualties and unanswered questions. One such incident etched in the annals of the FBI is the 1986 Miami shootout. This confrontation left 2 agents dead and 5 wounded, serving as a stark reminder of the perils faced by those who wear the badge. Years later, the 2021 Sunrise, Florida shootout would once again plunge the nation into mourning, highlighting the ever-present dangers faced by law enforcement officers in the line of duty. The 1986 Miami shootout involved a stakeout of 2 bank robbers. It turned into a firefight that lasted minutes, but left an indelible mark on the FBI. The incident led to changes in training, equipment and tactics. It emphasized the need for better firepower and armor to protect agents in the field. Yet despite advancements in training and technology, the threat to law enforcement remains ever present. As the Sunrise shootout would tragically demonstrate, even the most routine operations can erupt into violence, underscoring the bravery and sacrifice demanded of those who serve and protect. February 2nd, 2021 dawned like any other day in Sunrise, Florida. But for 5 special agents of the FBI, it would become a day of unimaginable loss and sacrifice. Tasked with serving a federal search warrant, these agents walked into the heart of darkness. Their target, a suspected possessor of child pornography hidden within a seemingly ordinary apartment complex. The agents were unaware that their investigation would lead them into one of the deadliest ambushes in FBI history. The quiet morning air would soon be shattered by the deafening roar of gunfire. The peaceful facade of the apartment complex would be ripped apart by violence. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting long shadows across the scene, the nation would learn of the tragic events unfolding in Sunrise. The shootout would claim the lives of 2 agents and leave 3 others wounded, marking a somber day for the FBI and the nation. It would also ignite a firestorm of debate about the dangers of online child exploitation and the risks faced by those who combat it. The agents who arrived at the Sunrise apartment complex were on the front lines of a battle against one of the most heinous crimes imaginable: child exploitation. The internet, for all its benefits, has become a breeding ground for the creation and distribution of child sexual abuse material. Predators lurk in the shadows of the digital world, exploiting the innocent and vulnerable. The FBI plays a crucial role in investigating and apprehending these criminals, working tirelessly to rescue victims and bring perpetrators to justice. The agents who lost their lives in Sunrise were dedicated to protecting the most vulnerable members of society. They understood the devastating impact of child exploitation. They knew that behind every image and video lies a real child who has suffered unimaginable abuse. Their mission that day was to gather evidence against an individual suspected of fueling this horrific industry. Their courage and sacrifice serve as a stark reminder of the importance of combating child exploitation in all its forms. It is a battle that requires constant vigilance, relentless investigation, and unwavering dedication from law enforcement agencies worldwide. The federal search warrant was clear. Agents were authorized to enter the suspect's apartment and search for evidence related to the possession and distribution of child pornography. Such warrants are not issued lightly. They are the result of meticulous investigative work, often involving the analysis of online activity, digital footprints, and other intelligence. In the Sunrise case, agents had gathered sufficient probable cause to convince a judge that evidence of a crime would likely be found within the apartment. Armed with this legal authority, the agents approached the apartment door. They were prepared for a range of possibilities. Experience had taught them that even seemingly routine warrant executions could quickly turn dangerous. They announced their presence, identifying themselves as FBI agents and stating their purpose. What they couldn't have known was that the suspect, David Lee Huber, was waiting on the other side. He was armed and ready to unleash a torrent of violence that would have devastating consequences. Section 5, Ambush, a hail of gunfire. As the agents entered the apartment, they were met with immediate and overwhelming gunfire. Huber, concealed within, had transformed his home into a deadly trap. He lay in wait, his finger on the trigger, ready to spring his ambush. The agents, caught off guard, found themselves in a desperate fight for their lives. Bullets ripped through the air, shattering the morning calm and transforming the apartment complex into a war zone. The agents, though surprised, reacted with the training and courage instilled in them. They returned fire, seeking to neutralize the threat and protect themselves and their colleagues, but the damage was swift and severe. 2 agents, Special Agents Daniel Alfin and Laura Schwarzenberger, were fatally wounded. 3 others sustained injuries, their bodies bearing the scars of that horrific day. The shootout, though brief, was intensely violent, a stark reminder of the deadly risks faced by law enforcement officers every time they don their uniforms. Section 6. The Face of Evil. David Lee Huber. In the aftermath of the shootout, as investigators pieced together the events of that tragic day, the name David Lee Huber emerged as the perpetrator of this horrific act of violence. Huber, a 55-year-old man, was no stranger to darkness. His past was littered with red flags, including a history of mental health issues and a documented fascination with violence. He had a documented history of making threats and exhibiting erratic behavior. Huber's online activity painted a disturbing picture. He frequented websites and forums known to harbor extremists and individuals with violent ideologies. His digital footprint revealed a descent into a world of hate, violence, and depravity. While the exact motivations behind his actions may never be fully understood, it is clear that Huber was a deeply troubled individual consumed by darkness. His decision to arm himself and open fire on law enforcement officers was a final act of cowardice and hatred, one that would forever link his name to the tragedy in Sunrise. Section 7. National Mourning and Outrage. News of the shootout sent shockwaves across the nation. Flags were lowered to half-mast as Americans mourned the loss of 2 dedicated public servants. President Joe Biden expressed his condolences to the families of the fallen agents, praising their courage and sacrifice. He ordered flags to be flown at half-staff at the White House and all public buildings. He called for a moment of national unity and reflection, urging Americans to honor the service and sacrifice of law enforcement officers who put their lives on the line every day. FBI Director Christopher A. Wray issued a statement expressing his profound sadness and vowing to honor the memories of the fallen agents by continuing their mission to protect the American people. The FBI community, a tight-knit brotherhood forged in service and sacrifice, grieved the loss of 2 of their own. The Sunrise shootout served as a stark reminder of the dangers inherent in their profession, a profession that demands unwavering courage and a willingness to confront evil head-on. The nation mourned alongside the families, friends and colleagues of the fallen, united in grief and gratitude for their service. Section 8. Scars on the Badge, the Aftermath. The Sunrise shootout left an indelible mark on the FBI. In the wake of the tragedy, the Bureau launched a comprehensive review of its tactical operations, training protocols, and equipment. The goal to identify any potential shortcomings and implement changes to better protect agents in the field. The FBI also provided counseling and support services to the agents involved in the shootout, recognizing the psychological toll of such traumatic events. Beyond the immediate impact on the FBI, the Sunrise shootout sparked a broader conversation about the dangers of online child exploitation. Lawmakers, law enforcement officials, and child advocacy groups renewed calls for increased resources to combat this growing epidemic. The tragedy served as a stark reminder of the hidden victims of online predators and the importance of vigilance, education, and proactive law enforcement efforts to protect children from harm. Section 9. Remembering the Fallen, Forging Ahead. The Sunrise, Florida shootout stands as a grim reminder of the risks faced by those who dedicate their lives to protecting others. Special Agents Daniel Alfin and Laura Schwarzenberger made the ultimate sacrifice while serving their country. Their deaths are a profound loss to their families, the FBI, and the nation. It is essential to remember their service, their courage, and their unwavering dedication to justice. In the face of tragedy, it is human nature to question, to search for meaning in the midst of senseless violence. While we may never have all the answers, we can honor the memories of those lost by continuing their mission. We can support law enforcement officers who put their lives on the line every day. We can work to create a safer world for our children. And we can never forget the sacrifices made by those who gave their all. William Matix and Michael Platt were career criminals. Their rap sheet was long, filled with armed robbery, assault, and even murder. The FBI had been watching them for months. They were suspected of robbing banks and armored cars across the Miami area. Matix, a former soldier, was considered the more dangerous of the two. He was known for his ruthlessness and lack of hesitation when using violence. Platt, while less experienced, was equally unpredictable and volatile. The pair had perfected their criminal enterprise. They were quick, efficient, and left few witnesses. Their brazen disregard for the law made them a top priority for law enforcement. The FBI was determined to bring them to justice. But Matix and Platt were cunning adversaries. They were always one step ahead, always prepared to escalate the situation if cornered. The FBI knew they needed a solid plan to apprehend the duo. This was not a simple case of petty theft. These were hardened criminals who would not go down without a fight. The agents involved knew they were dealing with dangerous individuals, but none could have predicted the level of violence that would unfold on that fateful day in April. April 11, 1986 started like any other day in Miami. The sun was shining, the air was thick with humidity. Unbeknownst to the public, a team of FBI agents was preparing for a confrontation that would change everything. Special Agents Ben Grogan and Jerry Dove were among the team tasked with tracking Matix and Platt. Both were highly decorated agents with years of experience. The agents had been following the suspects for days, waiting for the right moment to make their move. They knew Matix and Platt were armed and dangerous, so they proceeded with extreme caution. The tension was palpable as the agents waited in their unmarked cars, their eyes glued to the suspect's vehicle. Every rustle of leaves, every passing car sent a jolt of adrenaline through their veins. The plan was simple: tail the suspects, wait for them to slip up, and apprehend them when the opportunity arose. However, Matix and Platt were not known for making things easy. The agents knew this was a high-risk operation, but they were committed to bringing the criminals to justice. They were prepared to risk their lives to uphold the law and protect the public. The agents followed Matix and Platt as they drove through the suburban streets of Miami. The atmosphere inside the FBI vehicles was tense, every agent alert and ready. They knew this was a critical moment. One wrong move could have deadly consequences. The suspects, seemingly oblivious to the danger lurking behind them, continued their drive. As Matix and Platt's car slowed to turn onto a quiet street, the agents decided to move in. They had to act quickly and decisively to control the situation. Several unmarked FBI cars moved to box in the suspect's vehicle, hoping to take them by surprise. The element of surprise was crucial. The agents needed to gain control before Matix and Platt could react. The agents, adrenaline pumping, jumped out of their vehicles, weapons drawn, shouting commands for the suspects to surrender. They had hoped for a peaceful resolution, but that hope was quickly dashed as the situation escalated in the blink of an eye. Matix and Platt, trapped and desperate, were not about to go down without a fight. Section 4. A firefight erupts, shots fired, lives lost. The peace of that sunny Miami morning was shattered by the deafening roar of gunfire. Matix and Platt, true to their nature, opened fire on the surrounding agents. The once quiet street transformed into a chaotic battleground as bullets flew through the air. The agents, caught off guard but highly trained, returned fire, seeking cover behind their vehicles. The air was thick with the smell of gunpowder and the sound of shattering glass. Each agent fought with the courage and determination instilled in them through years of training. However, the suspects, armed with superior firepower, gained the upper hand in the initial moments of the shootout. They unleashed a barrage of bullets, pinning down the agents and preventing them from returning fire effectively. Tragically, amidst the chaos and confusion, 2 agents, Special Agent Ben Grogan and Special Agent Jerry Dove, were struck down by the hail of bullets. Their fellow agents, heartbroken but resolute, continued to fight back, determined to neutralize the threat and honor the sacrifice of their fallen comrades. The shootout raged on, a desperate struggle for survival against ruthless criminals. Section 5. The Aftermath. A Nation Mourns, the FBI Re-Evaluates. The 1986 FBI Miami shootout sent shockwaves across the nation. The image of 2 fallen agents slain in the line of duty served as a stark reminder of the dangers faced by law enforcement officers every day. The shootout, lasting only 4 minutes, had resulted in the deaths of 2 agents and the wounding of 5 others. It was a devastating loss for the FBI, and a tragedy that left an indelible mark on the Bureau's history. The shootout forced the FBI to confront a harsh reality. Their standard-issue revolvers and semi-automatic pistols were outmatched by the superior firepower wielded by criminals like Matix and Platt. This realization led to a complete overhaul of the FBI's weapons policies and training protocols. The Bureau recognized the urgent need to equip its agents with the tools and training necessary to face the evolving landscape of criminal activity. The FBI immediately began phasing out revolvers in favor of semi-automatic pistols with higher magazine capacities. They also implemented more rigorous firearms training, emphasizing tactical maneuvers and close-quarters combat. The tragic events in Miami served as a catalyst for change, prompting the FBI to prioritize the safety and preparedness of its agents facing increasingly dangerous situations.